Hello, Fritz.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
The Bears. The Bears.
I am the great Cornholio.
We'll see what happens.
The playoffs?
See, Sean McDonough, Jay Billis. Goats!
Can you play a song? Something cool.
Put my mic on!
I'm calling both games!
Oh, baby!
Goes down the field for Smith.
Oh! He got it!
Seattle. We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
Welcome back to the Mike's Madness YouTube channel. We are back on regular videos now since I just got done the most recent semester in college, so I have some free time on my hands. So we're gonna get some real videos, some real content in. As I know I've been trying to do as much of this kind of stuff as I can, but you know, being busy with work and school and all that great stuff was taking up some time, and I was pushing out those videos with the picks against the spread. It was just little background music and the logos popping up. It was just a little something so that I wasn't uploading nothing. But we're back. I'm on winter break, so I have some time to make some real videos. And we're going to be doing a video format that we haven't done in a while. We're doing Monday takes here on the Mike's Madness YouTube channel. Before we get started in this video, check out the like button down below. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. That'd be great. Subscribe as well. It is free, and you can get notifications every time a new video comes up, so you'll be the first one to watch it and share with all your friends and all that great stuff as well. And comments are always welcome, as I say in every video. Yeah, let's get started here. A Monday takes. We haven't done one of these videos in a long time, but there has been some stuff lately that I want to get my takes on, because yeah, I had some pretty good thoughts about some of these things when I heard about them. So first one up is Duke canceling the remaining non-conference schedule for their basketball. And this happened, Coach K said this before they canceled the rest of their non-conference schedule. He said this after they lost to Illinois, I believe. He said, quote, "I would just like for the safety, the mental and physical health of our players and staff to be assessed where we're at." And I don't really know where he was going with that. I don't really know, what his motivation and his purpose behind that was, because that was really kind of confusing to say that after another bad loss. Like, I think they got blown out by Michigan State, I think the week prior. And, they hadn't had such a great start to the season, and I think you're seeing that with a lot of young teams and a lot of teams that historically go with those one-and-done guys. Like Kentucky is the same way, where they get a lot of freshmen who come in, play 1 year, and then they leave. Again, one and done. They thrive on those players, and Kentucky's 1-4 right now. Duke is the same way. They do have a lot of those players year in and year out that are one-and-dones, and they kind of that's what they build their program off of, and that's fine because they've been very successful in years past. But with the landscape of college basketball this year, where you don't get a lot of practice time, you have to be careful with how many people you have in the gym at a time, and you don't really get to build a game plan and build your team up and get ready for games like you would in years prior. So you're seeing a lot of these teams that thrive off of one-and-done players. You're seeing them struggle because they don't have a lot of practice time and they don't have that chemistry on their team. Now, Coach K is no doubt going to be a Hall of Fame coach, but he gets on my nerves a little bit, and I don't think he really. I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't care about the health of his players. I think he does. But I think he was using that fact that he cares about the health of his players, because every coach is going to care about the health of their players, right? Let's not get too off track here. Just the timing of those comments were really odd after getting 2 blowout losses at home, and he made it seem like. Another thing that he said was, he said that the NCAA is worried about the end game and not the game that they're currently playing right now. And I you know, I was watching ESPN when I saw that, and Seth Greensburg came on afterward, and he made a very good point. He said, this is not really an NCAA issue. If you don't want to play, you don't have to play. And I guess Duke got that message loud and clear, and they said, okay, well, we're not going to play the non-conference schedule. And it was weird that they canceled the non-conference schedule, and yet Coach K was making it a big deal about how the NCAA is worried about the end game and not the game they're currently playing right now. Well, to be honest, if you're going to cancel the games you're playing right now or scheduled to play right now, it doesn't seem like you're too worried about the game you're playing right now either. It seems like you're more worried about the end game as well. You know, like, let's be honest here. Duke's not going to go and cancel a game against North Carolina in February or January. There's no way. So to say that, you know, to make it seem like that he's so worried about everything and the NCAA isn't, is a bunch of baloney and malarkey and muckety-muck and all that great stuff. See, I think he is a little bit of, what's that called? A little bit of a hypocrite. You know, he says, oh, you know, I would just like for the players to be, you know, come first or whatever. Look, if you watch the games again with Duke, he's on the sideline. He doesn't even look interested in the game. Coach K himself doesn't look interested in the game. And you know why? It's because they're losing. Losing's not fun. I'm not saying that, you know, you have to be so into the game when you're losing, but you would think that he'd be a little more motivated to win in a season that is, you know, really important. This is one of those seasons when you're not fooling anybody. If you're good, you're going to go out and you're going to play well and you're going to prove it. If you're not good, you're going to go out and you're going to get stomped. And I think Duke did this. Sure, you know, he said he's worried about the health of his players or whatever, but I think he doesn't want to get embarrassed by these teams that they should be beating. And I don't know. I just think that the timing of those comments were weird, and I'm not really convinced that he is all that concerned about the health of his players. I think he's more worried about, you know, how his team's losing. And, you know, look, if this was really all that serious, they wouldn't be playing the games at all. It would be the same thing it was back in March and April when this all started. Moving on from that to Jalen Hurts making his first start as an Eagle yesterday. I thought he played well. He played really well, actually. It was a really tough game for him to be thrown in as the starter, playing the 10-2 Saints yesterday. Going into that game, the Saints were the #1 seed in the NFC. But for those circumstances, Hurts played really well. I thought he played, again, I think that was the best performance all year when you look at rookie quarterbacks making their first start. I know we've had Tua made his first start this year. I feel like there was another rookie quarterback that made his first start this year. I'm blanking on who it is, but I feel like there was another rookie quarterback that made the start this year. Justin Herbert. That's it. Herbert. And was there another one? No, I think it was just Herbert, Hurts, and Tua. Tua's first game, I believe, was okay. Herbert's first game, I believe, was pretty good as well. But I think this was the best first start out of all those three. Playing a tough team, too. Again, Hurts played well. Doug Peterson did not coach well again. This is a common theme in the past couple of years. And as I said in last week's video, a different quarterback doesn't change poor coaching. And look, I understand that Doug Peterson is an aggressive guy. Like, he likes to go for it on fourth down. But as I pull out my notebook here, yeah, he went for it a lot on fourth down. And early in the game like that, when you got your rookie quarterback out there who's making his first career start, you think maybe, again, I get it, you want to be aggressive, but I don't know if you want to tell Jalen Hurts, unless, I mean, I guess he has a lot of confidence in him, or he's just stupid, or both. But Doug Peterson, I just didn't understand going for it on fourth down on the first drive, on the first couple of drives of the game. But then I saw Jake Elliott go for a field goal, and he dunked it off the upright, and I said, oh, maybe that's why they're going for it on fourth down. But it paid off for him. Like, I'll give him that. It did pay off for him that they ended up winning the game. They almost blew it, but they ended up winning. going forward on fourth down, I guess that helped them. But again, I didn't care for going forward on fourth down a lot on the first couple of drives when you're putting your rookie quarterback out there for his first career start against a really good team. Also, I have a question about the Eagles. How did the Philadelphia offensive line all of a sudden get like 10 times better? I don't understand that. And if you didn't watch the game, Jalen Hurts got sacked 0 times yesterday. And yes, he is more mobile, right? I'll give him that. He's very mobile. He was able to move around the pocket more when the pocket did break down. But Hurts, nonetheless, even if you are mobile, you're still going to get sacked a couple times. And I'm not saying he's never going to get sacked this year. I think he will. Obviously, it's inevitable. But he got sacked 0 times yesterday. Carson Wentz has been sacked 10 times more than any other quarterback in the league this year. Jalen Hurts comes in, gets sacked 0 times. And again, yes, he is more mobile, but Carson Wentz is mobile as well. He's not Tom Brady who's just standing in the pocket for ages, or Philip Rivers or anything like that. Wentz is pretty mobile, but still he got a lot of sacks this year, a lot of turnovers for Wentz. Hurts came in, and I felt like the Philadelphia offensive line was all of a sudden like an all-star core, and I don't I don't know if that translates to a locker room issue, if those offensive line guys like just weren't really playing for Wentz anymore, if they just kind of not gave up on him, but I guess in a sense, yes, maybe they did kind of give up playing for him, and Jalen Hurts came in and they said, all right, here's a guy that we want to play for. I don't know what the deal is there, but that was just an interesting stat there that Hurts got sacked 0 times last night, and Wentz going into that game has been sacked 10 times more than any other quarterback in the league. I also wasn't a huge fan again of the fourth down plays, going forward on fourth down, but it ended up paying off for them. Again, I wasn't also, like I said, Peterson didn't coach very well. Late in the game like that, I think they were up 10 points, and they've got Jalen Hurts running the ball. Just hand the ball off. Hand the ball to your running back who is designed for running, obviously. It's in the name of his position. And the ball got punched out from Hurts. Turnover. Saints almost came back and tied the game. The onside kick was awfully close. But I don't know why you don't just hand the ball off there to your running back, who probably has a better technique on how to secure the ball better than Hurts. I didn't understand that play call either. And again, that's a common theme all year long, is that Doug Peterson has made some questionable play calling decisions. But again, that was another aspect of the game for the Eagles last night that I thought was kind of odd. The play calling was bad. Hurts was good. The New York Jets plummeted to 0-13 yesterday in a blowout loss to the Seahawks. They lost 40-3 to Seattle yesterday. And that tells us a lot about the Raider game from Week 13, where they nearly beat the Raiders if it weren't for an absolute terrible defensive play call on the last play of the game. What that game against the Seahawks tells me is that the Raider game was the last realistic game that they could have won. They play to finish out the regular season. They've got 3 games left: the Rams, Browns, and the Patriots. A lot of people are saying that the most realistic shot at winning a game is the Browns game. I disagree. I think that would really be more so the second most realistic game for them winning. Honestly, I think the most realistic game for them winning is the last game of the season. And here's why I say that. You go into the Cleveland Browns game, you're 0-14 if you lose to the Rams next week. I think that the Browns game, again, as I said, is the second most realistic shot they have at winning a game, just because the Browns are so infamous for losing easy games against bad teams. But the Browns this year have really turned it around, and they're really good this year. And they've got a solid team. It seems like they've got a coach that actually knows what he's doing for once. And I don't think the Browns are going to lose to the Jets. If I'm wrong about that, that'll be hilarious, because I would love to see the Jets beat the Browns. That would be so indicative of the Browns. But the Jets, I think, last game of the year, you're 0-15. You're playing your division rival, the Patriots, who are also having a bad year. They're most likely not going to make the playoffs either. Both teams are kind of not really playing for anything, and I think the Jets are going to come out and want a victory more. And I think the most realistic shot the Jets have at winning a game is Week 17 rather, against the Patriots. But like I said, the Jets game against the Jets-Raiders game, the Jets-Seahawks game tells us a lot about the Jets-Raider game from a week ago. And what I gave you a little bit as to what it tells us about the Jets. And what, again, as I said, the Jets, that tells me that the Jets really almost should have won that game. And I'm saying that half based off of what they did against the Seahawks and half based off of what the Raiders did against the Colts yesterday. The Raiders are frauds, okay? I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I was talking about the Jets-Raider game a little bit. And for me, the Jets game where they almost lost to the 0-12 Jets at that time, or the 0-11, I guess it was 0-11 at that time, it made me question the Raiders. I was like, how did they beat the Chiefs? And then I thought about it a little more, and I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, the Jets game for the Raiders made me question them, question their talent, question how good they are, how realistic of a shot they have at making the playoffs. But the game this week against the Colts confirmed it. They got absolutely embarrassed at home against the Colts. They lost 44-27 for those of you that didn't see the game or see the score. And so right now they're 7-6 going into next week's game. One of those wins was against the Kansas City Chiefs, who they're in the Chiefs division, so they play them twice a year. The only reason that the Raiders beat the Chiefs is because they are one of the most familiar teams, or they are one of the only teams that are most familiar with the Chiefs because they play them twice a year. If the Raiders weren't in the Chiefs division, there's no way they would have beaten them the one time that they did this season. So all of a sudden you go from 7-6 to 6-7 if they don't beat the Chiefs. That game against the Colts yesterday was, again, a critical game for playoff implications for both teams. And after the way the Raiders played in the last 2 weeks, actually I think the last 3 weeks, because the week before the Jets game, I think they got embarrassed in Atlanta, if I'm correct on that. So the last 3 weeks for the Raiders have been absolutely atrocious. They go to the Falcons, who have had a dumpster fire year. They got absolutely embarrassed in Atlanta. They almost lose to the winless Jets, who are an absolute joke to the NFL this year. And then they come back home looking for some kind of win to get back on track against the Colts, who was another middle of the pack team, and they get blown out again. So I really feel like, can you imagine if they would have lost so they lost 2 out of the last 3. And I think 3 out of the last 4, because I think they lost to the Chiefs before that, if I'm not mistaken. So the Raiders are, a lot of people have been kind of saying that, all right, the Raiders got this. They have a chance. No, they don't. The Raiders are done. They are not going to make the playoffs this year. They have been an absolute joke the past couple weeks. And if you still believe the Raiders are eligible, if you think the Raiders are still, a possibility for a playoff team, you might want to go get a reality check, because that's ridiculous. There's no way the Raiders are making the playoffs this year. I'm sorry. The Chargers, speaking of the AFC West, the Chargers, what is going on with the Chargers? Well, they actually won a game yesterday, so I'll give them that. They finally won one of those late, close games, late scenarios. But Anthony Lynn, man, I'm sorry. My man's needs to go. The Chargers are, they're not terrible. They are terrible, but they're not terrible, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, they're 4-8 now, or 4-9, or something like that. So yes, they are terrible, but they're not terrible. Justin Herbert looks really promising. He's a guy that I think you want to keep around. They've got Keenan Allen. They've got Hunter Henry, who I believe, is he injured? I'm not sure. I haven't really been watching too many of the Chargers games, or I haven't been watching a lot of the Chargers games. I've just been watching them blow late half and late game scenarios. they've got another really good wide receiver. I'm blanking on his name right now, but whenever there's a team that is very poor, they're having a poor year, and you look at their roster and you say, man, they got some good talent. Like the Eagles are an example of that as well, where you look at their roster and you say, man, they got some talent. How are they this bad? The Falcons are kind of like that. Matt Ryan is slowing down. I think it's his time to go soon. They fired their coach. The Lions have a good roster. They fired their coach because they're having a bad year. So whenever there's a team that has a talented group of guys and they are bottom of their division and they're having a bad year, it boils down to coaching. And the Chargers are yet another example of that. And if you watched the Chargers games the past few weeks, you probably caught yourself laughing at them a few times because they are just absolutely terrible in managing the clock, managing their timeouts, and that's something that you can get better on. That's something that you can like teach yourself and watch tape on and get better on. But on the other hand, when you make the same bad decisions week after week and you're not getting better, that is not something that you can teach your coach. Because sure, you can tell him, hey, Coach Lynn, this is what you need to do in this scenario. And that's fine. You can do that. You can talk with him and do all that great stuff. But when you go out on the field and you keep making those same mistakes week after week after week, it boils down to the guy with the headset on making the decisions. And I mean, yesterday, my goodness, they ran the and I think Anthony Lynn didn't want them to run the ball late in the first half yesterday. But you got to make that clear. You got to make that obvious to your team. And look, if this was the first time it happened all year, I would definitely give him some slack. But this is like once a game, maybe twice a game, and sometimes it happened with the Bills at the end of the first half last week. I believe that was last week, where they were inside the 10. Actually, I think that was the end of the game. Rather, they were inside the 10. The game was, I believe the game, they actually had a chance to score, get an onside kick, but with the way they managed the clock at the end of the game, they essentially blew it and gave the Bills the game there. End of the half yesterday, if you didn't watch it, I'll give you a little insight as to what happened. So you got about, I don't remember the exact amount of time, but you got about 20 seconds, a running clock, end of half, you're inside the 15, it may be inside the 10. Again, I don't remember all the exact deals. I just remember I was laughing too much. I was laughing at how bad it was, too much to be paying attention to what was really going on. So anyway, they have no timeouts. About 15 seconds left. You're inside the 15. Actually, they just used their last timeout. Instead of taking a shot to the end zone, taking a few shots to the end zone, and either you get a touchdown or you run the field goal unit out and get 3 points before the end of the half. Instead of doing that, which is the obvious thing to do, and any average football fan would tell you that would make the most sense to do that. For whatever reason, the Chargers run the ball, again, without any timeouts. They run it right up the middle. They don't even run it outside to try to get out of bounds and stop the clock that way. They run it right up the middle, and now they've got to rush the field goal unit out on a running clock because they have no timeouts. And you've got half the offense jogging to the sideline, not even really making a real effort to get out of bounds and get to the sideline so that the field goal unit can come out. So the field goal unit is rushing out there. The offense isn't rushing off the field. And the kicker, who's, again, this was 100% you're going to make this kick. The clock's running down. You got 3 seconds. Herbert's still at about the where the number 20 is on the field. He's not rushing off. The running back isn't rushing off. A few of the other guys are like that. Anthony Lynn is pulling. I would say he's pulling his hair out, but I don't think he has any hair. He's going absolutely ballistic at his guys. The field goal unit's out there. They just say the heck with it. They kick a field goal with. I don't know if they technically got it off or not, but if they did, it was about 1 second left. They throw the flag because they got about 20 guys out on the field because half the offense was still out there, and they don't get any points because of the flag. That's how you end your first half against a team that, in a game that you can beat the Falcons. Like, they're playing the Falcons yesterday, and that was a game that they did, again, end up winning. But going into halftime after blowing a shot at 3 easy points, you don't know that you don't know that you're gonna beat them. And so that was just another example of how bad Anthony Lynn has been as a leader of the Chargers. And I didn't know this until the announcers mentioned it in the game, but they said that Anthony Lynn actually started being the special teams coordinator, and he was the head of special teams yesterday as well, going into that game. So how about that? He not only is he overseeing a disaster of the entire offense and the team and everything, but he started taking over the special teams yesterday too, and that was just another example of how bad he has been as a coach and as a leader. So, look, maybe he goes somewhere else and he gets it together, and he's a real good coach. And look, in years past, he's had his moments, but the time for him has come. I think it's time you got to get rid of Anthony Lynn. And because, look, if you get a half-decent head coach, all of a sudden this team is looking pretty good because, as I said, they got some really good talent. But it's time to make a move at head coach. And there's going to be a lot of openings this offseason, right? Lions, Texans, and Falcons have already fired their head coach. And I think the Chargers are going to be the next team to do so. Jaguars are another team that I think could make a potential move. And maybe the Jets, I don't know, because the Jets like to fire their head coach every 5 seconds. Moving on from the Chargers, last take of the week. The Steelers got absolutely exposed last night on Sunday Night Football on national television. Absolutely exposed. And going into that game, Mike Tomlin had some comments about one of his receivers, Deontay Johnson, dropping a lot of passes that he should catch. He said, quote, "If guys can't catch the ball, we will give it to those who can." Excuse me. End quote. And in the first half, Roethlisberger was throwing Johnson the ball. I get it. You want to keep him in your game plan. You don't want to abandon him, because if you abandon him, you go out there, and if he's on the field, you're essentially playing 10 on 11 because the defense is saying, all right, you're not throwing him the ball. He's not non-factor. Or if you do throw him the ball, he's going to drop it. He had a bad first half once again. They benched him for, I think, the rest of the first half. I don't know if he played any of the second half. But I just don't get it. If this is a problem that the Steelers have been having all year long, stop throwing the ball. Just cut it out. And I heard on Sunday Night Football, again, I wasn't paying too close attention because I was, spending some time with the family and all that great stuff. But I heard the announcer say that either Tomlin or Big Ben said that they had to keep throwing Johnson the ball to get his confidence going and keep him in the game plan and keep him involved. But I don't know if he knows this or not, but Deontay, I think it's Deontay Johnson. It might be Keontae Johnson. I don't know. A lot of things I don't know. I'm not that great. But if he has the most drops in the NFL, what makes you keep throwing him the ball so much? I just don't get it. And again, right now you're 11-2. You're still okay. It's not the end of the world. The sky's not falling yet. But if he has the most drops in the NFL, I get you want to keep him in the game plan, but don't throw him the ball like he is Calvin Johnson. Again, I get it. You want to keep him in the game plan, fine. Throw him the ball a few times, but stop throwing him the ball when the guy can't catch it. I mean, imagine what that's doing to his confidence. You say you want to keep getting the ball to build his confidence up, but if he keeps dropping it, what do you think that's doing to his confidence? Do you think he goes out there next time you throw him the ball, he's like, oh, great, here comes another one. His confidence is going to plummet if you keep throwing him the ball and he keeps dropping it. So I don't understand the mindset there. And they've got other guys. James Conner came back last night. I think he did have some injury issues as well. He didn't play the whole game. You've got TikTok Schuster, Jalen Samuels, the other running back, and James Washington as well, who's another pretty decent wide receiver. Eric Ebron, although he has some issues dropping the ball as well, and Vance McDonald, although I haven't seen him in games too much. I don't know if he's had injury issues or COVID. You never really know these days. You think you're going into you think you're going to watch a game where you've got a guy and then he's not playing for whatever reason. Just the reality of this season. So there's plenty of talent, and I've talked a little bit about other teams that have plenty of talent, but this is not coaching. Tomlin is a pretty good coach, and so you've got plenty of talent, but I'm just not seeing a whole lot of effort out there. I saw a lot of throws from Roethlisberger last night that looked like he was just kind of chucking it up for grabs, kind of, just saying, oh, just I'll just throw it. Hopefully somebody catches it. He's not really trying to get out of the pocket when it collapses. It seems like when the pocket collapses a little bit, he just panics and throws the ball a little bit. There was a few times where he threw it over the head. One time of Samuels. He made another couple of really bad throws where he underthrew the ball. So it looks like I don't know if he's got an injury going on or what the deal is there, but Roethlisberger looks like, I don't know, he looks off. He needs to get better. Maybe he's just getting old. I don't know. He needs to be better for this team to go far in the playoffs. And for this game against Buffalo, you cannot use the excuse of no run game. I know I've heard a lot about that from the Steelers not from the Steelers organization, but you know what I mean. I've heard a lot about that from other games. We have no run game. Well, start developing it in practice, Tomlin. Let's go. Come on. And your offense coordinator as well. You can't just go out there and say, we have no run game. All right, well, you got to do something about it. You can't just go out there and say, well, it is what it is. We don't have a run game. Well, whose job is that to get it going? It's yours, the coaches. Let's figure this out. You're not going to win Super Bowls by saying, we have no run game. It is what it is. Not going to happen. You had James Conner back last night, as I mentioned, though he did miss some time in the game. It looked like he got hurt. You've got the other running back, Samuels. He looks pretty good. He's played in a couple other years. So I just don't understand from the Steelers. And as I said last week, they have a weak schedule. They're overrated in my book. And last night was the first time that they played a team that looked like they actually had what it takes to beat them and expose how bad they really are. And it finally happened. People were still saying after the Washington football loss, they still said, it's okay. It's our first loss. We weren't going to go undefeated. We got this. No, that was the beginning of the end, as I, without a doubt, had the Buffalo Bills winning that game last night. And I just don't get it. You've got plenty of talent, and yet Roethlisberger is just not looking good. Someone's got to tell Juju Smith-Schuster to quit the TikToks and get it going, start making some game plans. God, can you imagine being the head coach of Juju Smith-Schuster? I think I would be pulling my hair out, telling him, hey, man, quit making TikToks. We're blowing an 11-0 start here. Now they're not even the number one team in the AFC playoff picture. They lost that to the Chiefs. Plenty of football still yet to be played, but the Steelers are right now a tutorial on how to blow an 11-0 start. And the Steelers have got to get it together starting now. They cannot wait until the playoffs to try to pull something together. Because if they do, you're going to see another game like last night, and it may not even be against the Bills. It may be against the Browns, the Ravens, or maybe even the Dolphins. You never know. The Colts and Titans as well could be a team that really exposes the Steelers in the playoffs. So, yeah, I just don't get it. And I had a thought last night. One last thought on the Steelers about Juju's two TikToks is, can you imagine, he goes out on the midfield logo of opposing teams and does these TikTok dances. Can you imagine if he would have done that back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or, where you had guys like Mean Joe Green and Dick Butkus and just the real old days, the real old days. Even in the 2000s, can you imagine if he did that on the Ravens midfield logo with Ray Lewis out there? I think Ray Lewis would knock his head off. The NFL is really starting to get, the players are just starting to really get soft because there's no, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but there's no self-respect for yourself. You're just letting some TikTok guy go out and do dances on your midfield logo. I don't know, that was considered disrespectful. You remember when Terrell Owens did the Spike on the Dallas Star, right? That didn't go over so well. So I don't know. I would love to see a guy like Mean Joe Green or Ray Lewis or something like that, Brian Urlacher, somebody like that go out and absolutely rock Juju Smith-Schuster for doing some TikTok dance on another team's midfield logo. That would be hilarious. But yeah, those are my takes for the week. For today's video, again, they may not be the hottest takes. You're not going to see that on SportsCenter or anything like that, but that's okay. I've got like 5 people watching these videos, which is great. I love it. But again, so thank you for watching. Those are my takes. If you did enjoy, hit the like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Comments are always welcome. Subscribe if you haven't already. We've got 10 subscribers. We're building on that slowly but surely. So yeah, hitting the subscribe button would be awesome. That would be greatly appreciated. It doesn't cost anything. If you're not sure about that, it is 100% free. It just gives, I don't know, it's just another number that doesn't really mean anything, but it'd be great to have more than 10. And also, I think you get notifications when a new video is uploaded and all that great stuff. And if you like the video and you want to share it to your friends, you want to show them, hey man, look, here's this guy that has got 5 people viewing his videos. He looks like he knows, sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Go ahead and share the video. I don't care. Go ahead and show it. Even if you want to make fun of it, go ahead and share it. I don't care. Make fun of me all you want. It's YouTube. It's the internet. I'm doing this. I'm putting myself out there. So whatever. I don't really care. But just be respectful. If you want to make fun of me, fine. Don't be like, you know, rude and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, again, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that great stuff. And until next time, this is Mike Madness YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. I'm out.